This series is all about innovation and cutting-edge design. Travelling far and wide across Europe, we showcase some of the region's best and brightest innovations and talk to their leading designers to uncover the incredible stories behind them. Welcome to Europe by Design. Europe is at the forefront of world design, and our ByDesign team of industry experts have selected some of the most cutting-edge design innovations from across the region.
As a designer, this show is uplifting. It's inspiring. It makes us want to do better.
We love going over to the most unexpected parts of the continent when we're looking for talent. And certainly this program is giving me some great ideas about where I might go and talent scout in future.
Let's take a look at our first story.
There is an unexpected ingenuity in this story. A cow wearable? Is this real? But it is. They are making a serious impact on greenhouse gas.
This one is hitting it on the nose, if you like. And I commend it. They could be very wealthy people if they pull that one off, because it is a global need.
Methane emissions are one of the worst contributors to global warming. And I'll give you 3 guesses as to what the #1 single source of methane emissions is. Is it natural gas? Perhaps mining? Or is it landfill? All good guesses, but no, it is in fact cows.
There's about 1.5 billion cows in the world.
Wow.
That's a lot of cows. Each cow produces about 500 liters of methane every single day.
Now, I don't know how to put this politely, but is that coming out the back end or the front end?
So about 95% of that methane is expelled from the front of the animal.
Really?
Yeah. The animal digests the food in one of the stomachs, and then it burps the methane almost at constant rates.
Okay, burping. All right, now you and your brother have been working on this problem here at the Royal College of Art in London.
Exactly. So we came from a family of farmers in Argentina. So this problem of methane emissions has always been front and center for us. We started this company in late 2017, where we're developing technology to reduce that gas.
So this is a prototype of what would go on the cow's nose.
Yes, it would go like that.
Oh, okay. Yes, that makes more sense. Leaving the mouth free.
Exactly. So it captures the methane from the nostrils, but it leaves the mouth open so that the animal can feed normally, groom normally, and it doesn't really impact the way the animal behaves on the farm.
And how does this neutralize the gas?
This collects the methane and it routes it all the way through to a catalyst that is under the neck of the animal. So the methane circulates, oxidizes into CO2, and releases as water vapor and carbon dioxide, which is a lot less damaging to our environment than methane gas, about 85 times less potent.
Oh, okay, and this is mounted on the cow, this device.
Exactly, and it hangs under the neck of the animal. We collect a lot of data on the animals around efficiency, fertility, but also quantification of methane gas, and we bring back to the farmers.
Oh, wow.
We have about 12 different farms that are trialing our colors at the moment, and we're training our algorithms at those farms as we speak.
Alrighty, so this is one of the farms that you're trialing, yeah?
Exactly, so we have about 22 colors here on these Aberdeen Angus animals, where we're going to be training our algorithms, collecting all the data so that we are prepared for our launch at DataWise.
Hello. Oh, they've got a funny feeling tongue, haven't they? Hello. Look at that. I've never been licked by a cow before. I mean, they seem pretty relaxed, I've got to say. I don't know a lot about cattle, but...
No, absolutely. The color is super light. It's easy to be worn. The animals get adjusted to that in a matter of minutes. This is the brain of what collects the data on the animals. And we have here a bit of a waterproofing membrane. And what it does is it detects where the head of the animal is. And based on that head position, we can detect if the animal is eating, ruminating, walking, standing, laying, etc.
So did your brother and you come up with the methane reduction wearable first and then thought, hang on a minute, here's a chance to collect some data? Or did it all happen at once?
So it's a bit of both really, but basically we knew we had to put hardware on these animals to understand a lot of the methane dynamics on the animal. And we thought, why not go the extra mile, collect more data on the animals and heighten the value proposition for the farmer.
Because the more data you can provide, I imagine the more people are interested in getting involved in the program.
Exactly. Companies benefit from emission reductions, governments benefit from emission reductions, but the farmer really benefits from a lot of the data that we collect.
For beef farmers, it's all about efficiency. It's about driving animal performance, and that will help in many ways, really. So not only costs and reducing costs, but ultimately it will help our environmental footprint. Livestock at the moment, beef cattle in particular, very challenged in terms of public perception about methane production. So the more efficient we can be, the more sustainable we can be.
So help this city boy out. What's a really simple example?
So a really simple example is if an animal's not eating as it normally would, or it's lying down more, that might indicate that they're not feeling too well, and we actually then need to give them some treatment.
So is this what a modern farmer looks like? You walk around the farm with your cell phone?
Increasingly so, yes. So I can flick on and I can have a look at the app, and it'll tell me what they're doing at that point in time. And then that will also over time give me a picture of what these animals are doing. So really, whilst the eye of a stockman's really good, with the additional bit of data, it can be even better still.
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to see when you start doing the nose piece trials. When's that going to happen?
Yeah, so we're looking at that early next year. We have a trial already, a commercial trial lined up from February onwards.
Well, I want to come back to Staffordshire. I want to see that in action. I like how this innovation is a dual proposition, tackling the challenge of methane reduction while collecting data to drive welfare and efficiencies on farms. ZELP could be a real game changer.
Inclusive design isn't just a bumper sticker. It's something that actually helps every single person that interacts with anything. Traditionally, products were made for the middle of the bell curve, the most common denominator for most people. Whereas when we're designing for different abilities, what are the great things about that? It makes it better for everyone.
I think it's really great when inclusion is just seamless in any organization and that you can really feel like it's a part of everything they do.
SAP reaches millions of people every day with their software and services. It's an opportunity for them to learn from all the different kinds of people who use their products. That's a lot. But is it really possible to design for so much diversity?
We are a global company. We are there pretty much in every country, every industry. And because we are creating inclusive experiences, we have a diverse design team. Over 1,200 designers across the board in many different competencies. People researching, understanding how users get their work done. And then finally, how it looks. So many different acts of design coming together, but a global, diverse workforce.
That is an amazing investment.
Nicole, I gotta say, I don't envy your job. Inclusivity, it's a buzzword. Everybody wants it, of course. But, you're the global head of this effort in this huge mothership called SAP. How do you go about it?
Well, I think it's a combination of a lot of passion and a lot of collaboration. Every professional that is joining SAP really needs to learn about accessibility and inclusive design.
Yeah, because they've probably studied computer science or something.
Computer science, but not inclusive computer science. We work with processes, with tools. We have to cover the whole development community of SAP. So every product should be accessible. Okay, Mike, what do you think? How many people around the globe have a disability?
North or south of 1 billion?
Go north.
North? Oh, wow.
It's 1.3 billion people are estimated to have a disability around the globe.
That's hardly a minority, is it?
It is not. And also 20% of people also are thought to be neurodivergent. The spending power of people with disabilities is $8 trillion per year.
I mean, it's the right thing to do, but with those numbers, surely it's good business.
Yeah, it's ethical and good business, I would say.
Sophia, let's dive into the weeds. How do you think about inclusion?
Well, I actually have a really great example of that. If you've ever been walking down the street and see where the curb is cut in where a sidewalk would be, actually, there's one right here. This is a perfect example of how we actually design for accessibility.
Right.
So for someone in a wheelchair can access the sidewalk better.
Yes.
But if you've ever been headed to the airport, dragging your suitcase behind you, or carrying a ton of boxes and can't see your feet.
Or wearing really fabulous shoes. I don't know how you walk in those.
Thank you, and very well. You can see that when you design for accessibility, it actually can benefit the entire population.
Ellie, how do you go about your research?
Well, we intentionally involve diverse perspectives throughout the product development process. And this means that we include different folks that represent disabilities, cultural differences, environments, literacy levels. Something that people don't realize is that there are situational, temporary, and permanent disabilities. And it really does affect all of us at some point.
My dyslexia, that's with me all the time.
You're dyslexic. I'm dyslexic as well, and so are my children.
So we released an inclusive research handbook, and this is really to help researchers everywhere to ensure that the outcomes that they're trying to have are inclusive.
So for everyone, it's not just tech companies, retail companies. Who is this for?
That's right. It's for anyone working on anything for people. So we made sure to involve these intersectionalities. That is the reality, because there are no averages, but everybody is actually a snowflake when you think about it. They all have their different lived experiences.
I'm working in the central accessibility team. We are 56,000 developers and hundreds of designers.
We use the knowledge of the inclusive design team to make our software accessible.
Okay, so what's a specific example?
So for example, outline of a button. If the button is placed inside a toolbar, it's clear that it is a button, so it does not need a contrasting outline.
So there you're considering people with a vision impairment, yeah?
Yes, for example, colorblind people, like 10% of the men are red-green blind.
You're talking to one, actually.
Indeed.
So Marvin, what does your disability bring to the table for your work?
I see myself as a highly empathetic person because I know how to deal with difficulties in life, and I can bring this in to my job to make our software and our products accessible to everyone.
Suzanne, now you worked on an enormous project, an app for the German government.
That's right, we worked to come up with an app in 6 weeks.
No, 6 weeks? When was this? Are we talking 2020?
Early 2020.
I'm going to guess it's a COVID or Corona warning app, something like that.
Yes, we have so many experts in place, and we are well equipped to work on such a huge project, especially when it comes to app development. So we really had the right team in place and the right people in place.
You're talking about people like Dennis here, yeah? Dennis, what was your involvement?
I work as a software developer at SAP. This app had to work for such a huge variety of different people with all kind of different backgrounds and needs. And so I tried to bring in the feedback of a blind person. And well, as a software developer and a really long-term, and I would say quite experienced screen reader user, I can connect the two perspectives together and make sure that the whole workflow of a blind person is considered.
And I guess it was not just blind people that needed to be considered, but aged, different languages. It's all in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So how much sleep did you get in that 6 weeks?
Almost no sleep.
Mad.
I really like Marvin's story. His difference is his superpower. That empathy allows him to stand in someone else's shoes. And that is really what this is all about. From what I can see, SAP's design teams understand that really well.
Next, we head to Australia for an international spotlight.
The Road Wireless Pro we have in daily use in the German Design Council, so it's a personal user experience, I can say so, and I'm very happy that they're in.
It's a game changer. The way the problem has been solved into a small little device that is completely made in the same country. Minimum carbon footprint, and it's hard to do in this global dispersed world.
So I'm pretty new to this TV business, but I know that we need 3 things: good pictures, good sound, and a great story. Brett and Angus here have the pictures under control. And this innovation here, the Rode Wireless Pro, is revolutionizing audio. It is literally recording its own story.
Good to go.
Well, I'm really excited to find out what this little device can actually do. And Ryan, you're product director at Rode?
Yeah, that's right. And we're wearing the Wireless Pros right now, actually. So
what are the chances?
Why don't we go into the studio? I can show you exactly what they can do. Now, this is a space that we're always filming. Different content for YouTube, for TikTok, for Facebook. One of the biggest challenges that every content creator has is capturing good audio, and that's where the Wireless Pro comes in. What makes the Wireless Pro so special is actually something that we have removed from the entire workflow of a content creator. Now, one of the biggest problems that you have when setting up a microphone is that you have to set your levels correctly so that it doesn't distort or that it doesn't set too low. And what we have on the Wireless Pro is a technology called 32-bit floating point audio. What that means is that this microphone can pick up everything from the quietest whisper to the loudest shout without ever having to worry about the levels. The audio is always perfect on board.
All right, Ryan, that sounds impossible. You're gonna have to prove it.
Well, look, I've got the Wireless Pro recording right now, so whether you want to whisper or shout, I promise the audio is going to be perfect recorded on board.
All right, Brett, are you ready?
I think so.
Does it matter how loud I shout? Or could I do this really quiet?
Now, I know that Brett will be cringing behind the camera thinking that audio is completely ruined, but we can take this, put it onto the computer, and I can show you exactly how perfect that audio is. So anytime you've recorded, you get your video from your cameras, your audio from your recording devices, and you bring it into your editing software. Now, what we're looking at here is where you were shouting into the microphone. And normally this is what you're afraid of. You're seeing an audio region that is too loud and it's clipped. You turn it down and everything is just chopped off at the top. But check this out, if I turn it down, all of that information has returned to the audio and it's now evenly spread at the same level as the whisper. So any audio person would be absolutely over the moon to be able to do that on any recording.
When it comes to world leaders who are revolutionizing audio innovation, look no further than this guy, Sam Buccolo, Chief of Design at Rode. Tell us a bit about Rode.
Well, it starts around 30 years ago, where Peter Freeman, our founder and now chairman, really wanted to set out this vertically integrated company. We know great design is actually more than just ideas, it's actually how you take that product through to manufacturing. And by having everything here allows us to control every detail of the product, manage our quality, reduce our risks, and most importantly, get speed to market.
So can you quickly take us through the steps of how something like that was developed?
So Megan, this is actually where the Wireless Pro all started. This is the heart of Rode, where our engineering design teams come together to innovate and drive innovation for our customers.
So let me get this right. Your designers, they don't have to send their ideas overseas. All of the prototyping is developed right here in Australia.
That's right. Welcome to manufacturing, where it all happens. This is where the Wireless Pro comes to life. This is actually where it comes into metal and starts our prototypes.
So step one across the road is design. Step two is prototyping. What's step three?
Step three is where we can take them at scale. This place is where all our products get manufactured and then can get assembled so we can actually deliver them to our customer. So Megan, this is just one part of the Wireless Pro that is made on this machine. It'll make thousands of these in a day, and then we have lots of equipment here that can actually make all our components here in Sydney.
This is what I used to deal with. All these extra pieces that I just had to carry to get just two people mic'd up. The AA batteries, the extra long lapel mics, the shotgun mic that I'd have on top. So all that weight's just gone from the kit, and now it's just a breeze because I've just got two little bricks sitting there.
Well, that's one opinion, but I'd like to hear another one. Angus, why don't you come and tell us your thoughts? Come on, if Brett can do it, so can you.
Well, I like the Wireless Pro. It's perfect audio every time, stress-free. But I'm better behind camera.
And you know, the best part really is that I can yell at both of these cameramen if I need to.
Clock 2 kind of blew me away because it's so obvious, but so ingenious. You have to wonder, why did it take someone so long to invent this?
When you think about how time has been represented throughout history, sun piercing through holes, shadow and light, we think of it as maybe our wristwatch, our phone, and it's really refreshing to see a modern interpretation.
In Schwäbisch Gmünd, the buildings date back to the 1300s, almost as old as time. So it's no surprise that here, two good friends are redesigning time itself. Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, Lexi.
Usually I'm running a little late, but since your thing is all about time, I wanted to make sure that I was on time.
Yes, answer me this question. How is it possible that we can meet at a certain point of time?
Because I have a clock?
Yes, everybody has a clock. But where does that come from?
It was not always like that. Look at this bridge. It's 700 years old. At these days, nobody had a clock. But they were able to meet together. And they did it with the sun.
Oh, okay, so you guys are philosophers.
No, we're not philosophers, but we met as teenagers and we started to discuss about time and reality and all those things.
So out of these teenage philosophical conversations, you've then made an innovation?
Yes, we did.
So this is your innovation?
No, this is where we started. This is an early art project. Try it, but be careful. We invented it when we were teenagers.
So how does it work?
Well, when you touch it, it closes the circuit and a light pops up and represents a moment in time.
So you are the viewer and the artist at the same time.
And if you stop, it's gone. The whole concept of time being fleeting was constantly on our minds, and it led us to different objects. This is one of them. Have a look.
Ah, Jimi Hendrix.
It's the whole life of Jimi Hendrix in a square of dots.
If you look closer, you can see every single dot, and this represents one day of his life. And if you zoom out one dot, you come to this object. It's one day in a life.
The important thing is that it's displayed with words.
Because without words, there is no time.
And this thought led us to Clock 2 Earth. It shows the 24 hours of a day in one single piece of art.
This is a clock that tells the time with words, like people talk to each other.
Ah, so this is your innovation?
Yes.
So if you normally look to a watch and you see the hands, you always translate it to a time with words. You say it's 4 o'clock.
This is our gallery. Here we can see the variety of our objects.
Oh, Marco, I'm realizing now that you have a bunch of different languages.
Yes, we have 26 different languages.
And as we move clockwise, I'm starting to see a lot of different material.
Yes, they're all handcrafted. We call it the Creators Editions. We even have one surface that is made of 100,000-year-old stone.
Oh, that's fascinating.
This is our second art object. It's called the moon. Remember the people on the bridge 700 years ago? If they had to communicate longer time periods, they were talking about the moon.
And in essence, this is a calendar.
Yes, each segment represents one day. So now we can see 3 days ago, the moon was full.
I love how you perfectly captured the illumination of the moon, the glow of the moon.
Yes, we achieved that by applying an alloy of gold and platinum. It's called moon gold. It's a little bit a mystical shine.
Schwäbisch Gmünd is a very, very old town. And we have a long tradition to work with silver and gold. And part of our work is also to work with traditional leaf gold. And today I show you how everything is made. The building is more than 500 years old.
Good morning.
This is where the magic happens. This is the place where we put the leaf gold on the surface of every single clock too. This is a very, very difficult process.
And this is real gold.
It's 24 karat.
It takes around about 4 days to put the gold on the cover. You have to make sure that the leaf gold is going into the edges of every single letter. You have to use the brush and put the gold inside of every letter so that the light that is shining from behind is also looking in a golden way. And this looks very beautiful.
So you're not just banging this out in a factory, you're really making this by hand.
Yes, it's impossible to do it in a factory. And that's the reason why every single piece is different.
I would personally love to take this home, but yeah, who's the lucky owner of this?
This piece is going to Washington, D.C. to an art collector.
So you're operating on an international scale?
Yes, yes.
So what's next?
Yes, it's quite simple, because there are only 3 things to think about.
We already created an object, the Earth. Then we created the Moon. And Lexi, what do you think? What will be the next?
Oh, the sun.
Yes, this will be an object that describes the circling of the Earth around the sun.
What an interesting idea. How fleeting time is and how we measure those moments. But what we can also learn from Marco and Andreas is that creative living, a life in pursuit of ideas and imagination, makes those moments all the more meaningful.
This season, we're proud to feature 4 affiliate awards. The Sustainability Award, sponsored by Ambionte, will be presented to one project that exemplifies sustainable practices. The Reimagine Award, sponsored by Road, will be presented to one project with exemplary vision and imagination. The Collaborators Award, sponsored by the German Design Council, will be presented to one project with an outstanding team of designers. And the Human-Centered Design Award, sponsored by SAP, will be presented to a project that honours user experience. Winners will be announced in the final episode of the season.
This is a family business that's literally older than the United States. They're mixing artisans and robots and new technology, and they're cutting edge design with knives.
And you can think a knife is a knife is a knife, but it isn't. They really change their process and make something really innovative.
This is a knife from 1905, made here in Esslingen, Germany. And this is a story about channeling the spirit of old knives just like this to create a new design.
So Mike, this is our original catalog out of the year 1911.
Okay, and look at the knives in here. Why are they so big?
Because at that time we decided to display the knife in a catalog in the original size.
And this handle actually at the time was a real game changer,
yes,
wasn't
it was. Other knives in that time had rivets. And then we said, okay, we're going to replace the rivets with a stainless steel color.
Right.
And so we created really a new and timeless design.
Yeah, but Stefan, we're not here to talk about this one, are we?
Correct. So we have a new venture. We ask ourselves, what about if we're going to create a new product out of our old products out of the year 1930s? And we had the Ajax knife, we had a chef's knife, and we had a cleaver.
Yeah.
And we said, let's combine the best out of these 3 worlds into one product. And at the end of the day, we designed and created the Red Spirit Ajax.
Now, Lutz, I talk to guys like you all around the world, and you always like a good whiteboard to begin with.
Yeah, it's the easiest way and the fastest way to do the design development.
Yeah,
and then
you end up with a drawing like this.
You end up with a drawing where you have the dimensions correctly in scale.
Yep.
You see contradictions where it doesn't work, and then 3D printing.
But I notice on here there's no handle.
Yeah. If you want to see the handle, I have it over there.
Sure. Oh, it's red.
It's red, yeah. You know,
I did not expect that. Wow.
Most handles are black, but this is boring. So we said we do something new. Asian style handle for this knife. The red of the Red Spirit is from the handle, and the spirit is a combination of old tradition and new ideas.
Wilhelm, What's this?
This is a part of a display we displayed in Chicago at the first World Fair in the States.
Now, this was your great-grandfather, Paul. He was quite the mover and a shaker, wasn't he?
Yeah, his idea was to go to the States because he saw the potential.
This is our new laser cutting machine. We are able to put our planks very close together on a metal sheet, and this means we have reduced scrap and waste. So you just click one out.
They're not sharp?
No, they're not sharp. So if you want to, you can continue and click the other 220 out.
What am I working for you now? Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, it's 1080 degrees inside. It's very hot. We put here piece by piece on the belt, because here we have a guarantee that we always have a consistent quality. So we come from 1080 degree and we're going down to minus 100 degree with the ice hardening process. We need to get a certain flexibility and toughness into our plates. And if we do this, we're going to change the structure of the grain, of the material. So Mike, over there we are doing the laser printing on the plate.
Ah, yes, and I recognize these Japanese handles.
Fine. So what we do here, we're going to assemble the handle to the plate.
And what's this guy doing over here?
So this is our sharpening robot. Every single piece of the edge is measured. And so the robot knows exactly how much material he has to take away to get a perfect sharp edge.
He's quite the dab hand, isn't he?
Absolutely, it's very skilled.
It's interesting how every single knife is hand checked. Uber sharp, oh my goodness. That is razor sharp. What a beautiful knife. Now, Christian, you look like a professional there. You look like the real thing.
Yes, I'm a certified master butcher.
The first time you came across the Red Spirit, what did you think?
It's a very nice blade. It's a real butcher knife with this hole in the blade.
Yeah.
This is characteristic for cleavers. The handle is very thick. It lies very good in your hand.
Oh, okay, because...
Do you want to test it?
Yes, there's been a lot of talk about the handle. You must hate this, seeing an amateur cutting meat.
Didn't say anything.
He's too nice.
So Mike, try this out.
Yeah, I noticed this. So it's kind of channeling the same spirit again.
Exactly, it's the same shape like the big Ajax knife.
Yeah, but you know what I'm going to say, Stefan, don't you?
I think I know what you want to say.
Yeah, I'm going to say
you have to, okay, go ahead.
What with my accent and all?
Yes, please.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
We hope you've enjoyed our look at some of Europe's most cutting-edge design innovations. Join us next time for more groundbreaking designs on Europe by Design. For more information on any of the projects featured in this series, go to bydesign.global.